Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining. I'm so excited to be back for another talk about rebuilding the rebuild talks with Tiffany. I have Malaysia Harrell, is it, with me today, and I'm so excited. When I tell you, you are going to hear a dynamic story about an incredible woman, not just incredible because of her experiences, but incredible because of the way that she's handled her experiences. Trust me, after this interview, you're going to want to go and research her and look her up just like I did. You're going to want to read her book and know everything there is to know about her. Welcome, Malaysia.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. I'm so honored to be here with you today.
So let's start from the very beginning. Why don't you give us an intro to yourself? Tell us a little about yourself.
Thank you again. And as Tiffany said, my name is Malaysia Harrell, and I am a psychotherapist, a spiritual transformation coach, also an author, a keynote speaker, and many other things, leader in my community. And I'm just so honored to have the opportunity to be here with you today because my story is like a lot of people's stories to where, on the outside, their lives were so successful until something happens that may be traumatic that shifts them into another direction. And like you said, overcoming that and how you handle that is really important.
So I really love that you say that. And I really love, honestly, to hear about multi generations in your family. I think that's such something that just adds to the texture of your life and of who you are and of your makeup. What was the moment that you were just like, wow, I did this. I really did this. Did
It
you have that
wasn't
moment?
then. You would think it was then, because that's what I worked my whole life for.
Hmm.
It wasn't.
What was it?
It wasn't.
Wow.
When I and I don't know now after what I went through, I can't ever say, looking at my spiritual side that I made it,
Good.
right? Now I've made it to be able to live and to survive and
Yeah.
to dedicate my life doing what God told me to do. But I feel like I'm still learning. I'm even more of a student now. The level of humility is different now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but when I said that, I was saying I thought it was that. I thought it would be that. Oh, I made it.
Right.
Not at all.
Nothing could be further from the truth.
No,
Wow.
no.
Wow. That is unbelievable. Wow. I mean, first of all, just the rise to success as a woman, as a woman of color, as a Black woman. First of all, that's just so impressive and so unheard of. And I just love your trajectory that it might not have been, what you might have expected, but it was just so, I mean, how spectacular. How spectacular of a career that you actually had, and then to hear that you never really had that feeling of I made it. It's just so interesting. I'd love to hear about if there wasn't that moment of I made it, what was the moment of okay, it's time to do something different?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is very interesting because, again, at that time when I got promoted, I thought to myself, I got to call my nana, and my nana wasn't here anymore.
Wow.
And so I had this somber feeling. It was like, oh, because she was the person when I remember when I had the interview with the Surgeon General and, just the calls that we had, like, you got this, she's going to love you and
Mhm.
this and that. And then, I remember she had gotten really sick before she passed. And of course, they
Oh, I'm
called
so
me up to the
sorry.
hospital and she's telling the whole hospital, my granddaughter worked for the Surgeon General. So, of course, they changed all her doctors. I was like, "Nana, I had just left." So I was like, "Nana, I don't work there anymore." She was like, "I don't care." And so
Right.
they changed all and the doctors was calling me daily, like things changed,
Mhm.
a little bit, but she was so happy for me. And even my dad, like he's just such a blessing in my life, but I just felt empty. I felt like, okay, I'm keep striving for this next thing like many of us do, but there was nothing there. And so it wasn't until so that was 2019 and so I asked God. I said, what is it that you would have me to do? And one thing I tell everybody, Tiffany, and everybody I meet, my clients, everybody I work with, other businesses, be careful what you ask for.
Yeah. Yeah,
Be
absolutely.
careful what if you really want the answer, be careful, be ready. It's not gonna
Wow.
come in a Tiffany box and a Tiffany bag.
Right.
It
Right.
might come crumbled up in a paper bag. It might look
Mhm.
real ugly. And so, okay, so 2020 comes. So I got promoted. 2020 comes. And I asked the question, 2020 comes in, that was the height of COVID. So I get deployed to the Navajo Nation, to the most desolate area. I'm
Oh
actually
my
staying
gosh.
on the reservation. It wasn't really safe. And my eyes were being open because I was talking to the people there. And I mean, again, they have to accept you, to be able to even have a rapport. And I was listening to the stories and I was like, I almost felt like, what have I been doing this whole time? Like, is it,
Right.
because there were people living like it was a third world country in the United States. And,
Oh my
we're doing
gosh.
all these things overseas and, humanitarian efforts. And I was just like, what's going on? So I started having this awakening there because the death toll was really high. I was really asking some more questions. Again, be careful what you ask for.
Indeed.
Once that happened, when I started having this, I don't know, I think it was a spiritual awakening, towards the end of that encounter. And I went home and again, I was trying to exercise a lot because I had did bodybuilding. I ran races all over the world. And I was like, this is how I need to cope.
Mhm.
I didn't go talk to anybody. I'm like, okay, let's figure it out. My husband, he's retired military as well. He went walking with me. We were trying to do what we could to keep it together. And so one night I, had an experience where I needed to go to the restroom and I get up and I couldn't walk. I was in extreme pain in
Oh
my
my
left
god.
hip. And again, I'm this beast. I didn't even wake my husband up. I crawled to the bathroom.
My goodness.
Unless I'm really not here, like, I'm gonna figure out how to get something done. And so I'm in the bathroom, he comes and picks me up, I'm crying on the floor, and then he hears me, so he comes, he's like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "I'm in extreme pain and I can't walk." I couldn't walk at all. So he helped me up, he helped me go to the back to the bed, and I still tried to take care of myself. I was like, "Oh, I did karate. Let me get some Tiger Balm. Oh, I did
Right, right.
this. Let me." Like, I was, trying to do everything I knew to do, and so went to the hospital a couple times again, you know, she's fine, sent her home, give her morphine, send her home. So one night it was so bad, or one day, and he was like, "We going to the military hospital because the other when you get the ambulance, they won't bring you to the military hospital; they'll bring you
Right.
wherever." So they brought me, and ultimately I was hospitalized in Walter Reed Medical Center, and then that started the state of events. And so I was there 4 days. They had now Walter Reed is the premier medical facility
Yes, yes, world renowned.
medicine and they take care of the president. So of course they're going to take care of me. And, not that my rank, but still, like they're going to take care of me. So they have all these students coming in, residents. They're trying to figure out what's going on with me because they couldn't find anything. And so it was like a medical anomaly. I'm thinking like that show House.
Right, right.
4 days in, again, they're giving me the highest level meds, even higher than morphine. I'm pressing the button every time, like, come give it to me every time.
My goodness.
And I was still in extreme pain. So imagine being on meds that didn't even take the pain away. So
Oh my
I
gosh.
knew, Tiffany, that it was time for me to transition. And by the way, my grandmother, my Nana, had come to me in my dream several weeks before I started having the pain to tell
Mhm.
me that it was time for me to go with her. So I didn't think about it at that time. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, cool. I had a sense of relief. Oh, it's time for me to go with my Nana. Let's go. Where we going? I'm ready, putting on my shoes.
Right.
But I didn't tell anyone. I didn't say anything because I didn't really know exactly what it meant. I just knew she was saying, it's time to come with me. And So in the I realized now that she was coming to warn me, and so 4 days in, they come in, "Captain Harrell, we can't find anything. We're sending you home today."
My goodness.
So
Wow.
I'm like, "Well, you could euthanize me because you can't deal with this pain." I'm looking at everybody in their eyeballs. And, "Oh, by the way, we're gonna send in a psychiatrist to evaluate you because you just came back from deployment."
My
So
goodness.
I couldn't even be a patient because I knew if they put me on the mental health side that I was gonna die. Like, I knew it. I would have died within days. I was there.
My
And
God.
I was making amends with God. I was, my girlfriend who was in Afghanistan, I was sending her messages. I was sending people messages to let them know. I didn't tell anyone that I was leaving, but I knew I wasn't gonna be here. And so long story short, I had to advocate. And again, I had to speak their language. I couldn't even be a patient. I don't even think I cried because it was like, oh no, like I'm not going out like that. So
Right.
anyway, they took a sample of my hip after all of this time, which you probably should have did that when I came in,
Yes.
and I had sepsis.
My gosh. No.
So for those of you who are not aware of sepsis, it is pretty I've started to see it during COVID. A lot of people, celebrities had sepsis,
Yeah.
so it's getting more coverage now, but it's basically a bacterial infection that it shuts down once it reaches your organs, it shuts them down one by one. So I would have been out of there within the next day or so. And I've heard of other people who were at an event, and then they died like that evening because it happened so fast.
So quickly. Wow. I
And so
can't
they
even
came in,
imagine.
they're rushing me into surgery. My husband, like, he's like, I hadn't even seen him tearful. Like, he's like, what's going on? Take care of my baby, save her. I ended up over the past 5 years having 9 surgeries and ended up with another health crisis. And I had to take oral chemo. My weight was up to 254 pounds. I had Bell's palsy. So I just knew that if I didn't ask God for guidance, that I wasn't gonna be here. Even when I was 254 pounds, my husband's like, "Malaysia, you're stopping breathing at night."
Oh my gosh.
So I was like, "Oh no, God," like I had to surrender. So I got this tattoo called the art. I don't know if you can see it, but it's the art of surrender. I had to remind myself every day because it wasn't easy. Cause I was like, if y'all don't want me here, why do I want to be here? Like I had a great life already, and so it almost gives you the will to kind of give up. Like, okay, I'm good. But I know now that my grandmother was warning me and God had another plan for me, and had it not happened this way, Tiffany, I would have went out fighting and screaming because I was still like, "No, I wanna make admiral, I wanna stay active duty." I
Right.
to medically retire after 20 years and 8 months. Again, it had to take something to sit me down because I would not even be sitting here with you today to tell my
My goodness.
yeah,
This is unbelievable.
yeah.
This is unbelievable. Wow. Unbelievable. So tell me, like, what was the beginning, or what were the steps that you started to take to rebuild your life
Yeah.
after such devastating events?
Yeah. The first step was, I mean, it was bad. It was bad. And it was during COVID, so no one saw it. And they just see this now. But I would say had to surrender. Again, that was the first step because it was like I already lived a great life. I'm not living my life like this. Like
Mhm.
that, I was like, no, I'm not doing
Yeah. Yeah,
it.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
basically started to recreate my life from the inside out.
Beautiful.
And I
Beautiful.
had a lot of talks with God. I started meditating. I went to these retreats. I started getting in these different masterminds because, again, it's just online. So I didn't even have to show my face. I'm listening in to
Mhm.
people sowing greatness into me or
Mhm.
everybody because they had started, what it was, it Clubhouse during COVID?
Yes, yes.
Listening overnight. I got them in. I'm listening to people talk greatness, speak greatness. I listened to David Goggins' books, both of the books that Can't Hurt Me,
Incredible.
and of course, Eckhart Tolle. So on the days where I needed somebody to really slap me, like I'm listening to David Goggins, but
Yes.
really getting into my spiritual side because we don't think about spirituality. It's like, oh, and even when I talk with my clients, it's like, "Oh, well, I don't go to church." And it's like, "No, no, no, this isn't religion. This is your
Right,
connection with the divine, being
right.
spiritually connected." That was the first key, was getting spiritually connected, because I couldn't hear from God
Love
because you
that.
have all this noise in your ear, right? Do this, do that, and all of these things. And so I wasn't in my spiritual mind at the time, and I had to learn to cultivate that and cultivate my relationship. And it's things just changed. I remember I was having these, dark nights of the soul moments where it was like,
Mhm.
this is, you're at your, where the rubber meets the road. Like, what you gonna do when it really,
Right.
when it's just you against you? There's nobody there. There's no awards. There's no titles. Again, and when I'm in the hospital, there's no awards. There's none of that.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about any of that. I didn't think about, oh, I accomplished all this. I didn't think about any of that. And so once I got clarity, I started to do small things that I could do. And well, actually, I was probably putting a lot on my husband, but I started redecorating the house.
Right. Yes, yes, yes.
Cleaning the inside, right? Releasing some things that needed to be released, getting clarity, being silent, and then just changing. So the house doesn't look the same. A lot of the house doesn't look the same as before all of this happened.
Mhm.
My office doesn't, like, everything has really changed, including my own appearance. Like, I feel like I look better than I did even before all of that happened. So it's
Amazing.
by the grace of God that I'm here. But I will tell you, when you are obedient, the world
That
will
part.
open up for you.
That part, and I think that so many people miss that
Yeah.
because, to your point, there's so much clutter, emotional, mental, physical clutter in our lives, and sometimes we need to move things, move furniture, move things around
Yes,
so that we can hear clearly
that's right.
and get clarity. Anytime, for me personally, before I take a big move, if I'm running a challenge for a group or a reset for a group, that's one of the first things that I we talk about is, there's something that needs to be cleared out because we're making space for something
Making
new.
space for something better than you
Yeah.
ever even imagined. And I
Right.
remember seeing Oprah maybe the end of last year in DC. She was getting
Hmm.
honored. So I was like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Because I was watching all the Super Soul Sundays. Like, those were keeping me going. I was ordering every one of the books
Hmm.
and all of that, and I was, like, visualizing myself talking with her about my own
Good.
story. So I started writing my own book. Now, of course, every therapist or counselor or coach says to journal. Writing a book is journaling.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
therapeutic. Now, if you're writing a memoir, it can be pretty traumatic when you're putting yourself back. But that's where I have some of my clients who are writing books. I help guide them through that process because it seems cute. Oh, I got a book. But no,
Hmm.
it's not. When it comes to a memoir that details trauma, then it can be very, very challenging. And so that's why it's taken me a little bit more to get it longer to get it out than I would have wanted. Now, if it was a Disney character story, I'm sure it would be out today. But yeah, so that is what, it just allowed you to see yourself. And I remember Oprah saying at that event, I am the manifestation of God's dream for my life.
Absolutely.
So you're telling me
Absolutely.
that my human brain cannot even fathom what God has for me? Now that'll make you surrender. That'll make you stop fighting. God, what you
Absolutely.
got for me? That's
Right,
better than
right.
what I can even conceive in my mind.
That is incredible.
Yes.
That is absolutely incredible. What's the thing that makes you really proud, Malaysia? What is the thing that really brings your heart joy and makes you really proud that you've done?
Think just sewing into the lives of others here when I speak, or, even being of service in whatever realm I was in, whatever life, even I talked to you and I just thought about that now about McDonald's, like, just being of service, right? Giving people glimmers of hope who can't even imagine, to be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and even a glimmer of hope and light to help them get through, to
Right.
know. And I think maybe that's why I went through, because people might have saw me with this level of perfectionism that I showed, right? I had this persona of perfectionism, and I do believe in living in excellence.
That
But
part.
there's such a difference with this perfectionism that doesn't really exist.
Right.
And so allowing people to live their authentic selves and not just stay in a role where you're not using your gifts. And that's why you feel like you're fighting, you're banging your head up against the wall. When you move, you keep moving from job to job and experiencing the same thing everywhere you're going. Do you think if you were supposed to be there, then it wouldn't be easy and it wouldn't be right? And so it's like, can we just take a step back and just
Mhm.
ask the questions that need to be asked? And so we can get clarity. But we think in our human mind, I need to make money. Again, Maslow's hierarchy of needs: food,
Absolutely.
clothing, and shelter. If I don't have this money, I can't eat.
Yeah, right.
Right? But we're not
Understood.
thinking about things in the spiritual realm. Everything, now I'm not telling people just leave your job and don't have a plan. I'm not saying
Right.
that at all.
Absolutely not.
Okay?
No, no, we're not saying that. We're not saying
But I
that.
know in these past 5 years, I've spent so much money doing healing, doing all learning about healing, getting my PhD in mind body medicine, doing what I needed to do because I know I have this gift that I need to help others to overcome their struggles as well.
I love that.
But I started to look at things like I wasn't prepared to retire again. I was going to do 30 years. I was going to make admiral.
Mhm.
So when you stop telling God and start allowing God to move in your life, you're going to
Yeah.
see how the things change. And then you'll start to see, wow, somebody wants you to talk, and then they're going to pay you money just to talk. And even if I'm dealing with medical conditions, I could get on Zoom and do a talk. Does that feel like
Absolutely.
work?
Absolutely.
And you say you can't eat. How much are you paying $300 for a cable bill? Should you be watching that much TV if you
That
have money?
that part.
So just sitting down and taking a step back and just
Mhm.
reanalyzing, releasing the things that no longer serve your life, and it can include people. So there's a
Right.
lot of grief and loss that comes with the pivot as well. So I'm not like, oh, it's cute. And, you see all these people on social media and displaying this greatness. But I'm going to tell you what, there's a lot behind the scenes that
Right.
only you and your higher power is going to deal with and
Yeah.
overcome.
There's a price. People don't realize there's a price. And realizing, understanding that everyone can't go with you to the next level is painful.
It is.
It is painful to consider. Yeah, the people who you think, but I love that you were so strategic and so mindful as to put yourself into masterminds, to get into the rooms with the people who are doing the same thing that you're doing. They're headed in the direction that you're headed in. And of course, I'm sure that doesn't mean that you left behind all your friends, but you really understood, like, all right, if I want something different, I got to do something
Got to
different.
do something different.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
definition of insanity is what?
Same thing over and over again,
It
expecting a
over
different
and over
result.
and over again. You getting the same man, he just got on a
Mhm.
different outfit, treating you the same way.
Absolutely.
And so it
Absolutely.
comes from within. Everything comes from within. When you surrender, the world is going to open up for you. Tiffany, 3 weeks after I physically, officially retired, meeting with Howard Schultz in a small
Oh my
conference room,
goodness.
he's one chair away from me.
Oh my
The
gosh.
founder of Starbucks.
Talk about a thought leader. I love his leadership style. I've read his work.
Yes.
A thought and a thoughtful leader.
Yes, and
Yeah.
just hearing his story again, listening to all the greats, or not greats, but people who had a tremendous great impact in the
Mhm.
world. Listening to their stories. He went to Milan and he basically saw 100 coffee shops within a very short area. And he's like, wait a minute, something's going on here. And he
Yeah.
saw how people felt and how they communicated and just the vibe of everything. And he was like, I'm going to bring that back to the United States. He's making
Mhm.
hundreds of calls. He made 50 cold calls a day for like a
Wow.
year. I
Wow.
mean, hundreds of no's until he got the yeses that he got.
Yeah,
So
absolutely,
I was
absolutely.
just again, to me, it was more than just having that conversation with him and listening to him,
Mhm.
but it was like another sign to show, "See what I have for you?
Right,
See the room,
right,
see the new rooms I'm gonna put you in
right,
when you're
right.
obedient?"
That is amazing,
Yeah,
amazing. I absolutely love that.
yeah.
So my last question for you is if you could speak to the woman or to the person who speak to the person who is in a similar position as you, and what words did you need to hear or what words helped you?
So this is so good because I do have clients that come to me who
Mhm.
not necessarily in the medical condition, but they're at a crossroads where they, because I work with high achieving women who are deemed successful in society, but they don't feel like their soul is fulfilled. They feel like everything is being taken out of them. They feel like they're giving to everyone else. They've sacrificed for everyone else. Oh, when my child goes to school, when
Mhm.
my husband leaves or retires, then I will, be
Right.
in you know, this space, and they know that there needs to be a change. What I would want to say to those individuals is, again, practice the art of surrender. And additionally, the day that you take off the mask is the day you will be free. So while you're continuing to adhere to everybody else's thoughts and ideologies and policies and laws, instead of doing what your particular mission is. Only you were called here to do that. No one else in this world
Mhm.
was called to do specifically what you were called to do. The minute you walk in that calling, you're going to be free.
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. Tell us, Malaysia, where can everyone find you?
So you can find me on all social media platforms. On Instagram, it's Malaysia H. Harrell. And of course, you can find me on LinkedIn, TikTok, and all the other places. My website is malaysiaharrell.com, and that's where you can contact me for speaking engagements, for holistic health wellness workshops, and my business, blissfullifeconsulting.com, which is a mental health and holistic wellness business. And we provide those solutions for individuals, groups, and corporate wellness as well. And so,
Perfect.
again, I think it is everybody, is not a luxury, right? To have self care and to have holistic wellness. It should be an inherent right to everyone. And I also founded Malaysia Harrell Foundation, which provides those services to veteran women and other underrepresented
Love that.
populations. So again, when I just became instead of doing service, when I became the service, I had to become it, like, holistically and spiritually. It changed the game.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. What a powerful story. Thank you so much, Malaysia. I'm so glad that we had this opportunity to speak. Your words have been so impactful. Everybody, please go and check Malaysia out. Go to her websites, go to her social media. You want to be connected to a powerful woman like this. You want to be connected to a woman who has insight and who has grit that has been forged in fire. You want to be connected. Malaysia, I hope we have the opportunity to work together again at some point.
We have to do it. And you have to show up at one of the book launch tours. I'm going to be in London. I'm going to be in Austria, Vienna, Austria. Like, we are taking this on the road. I became a WOMI peace ambassador under the United Nations. Like,
Mhm.
I just said, you know what? We're always looking just what's in front of us. And so having that unwavering faith. So I really would love to see you. We gotta get you my book, of course. God has blessed.
Absolutely.
the teaching memoir about my healing journey. And it's really the blueprint for people who want to make a total life transformation. So again, I see us definitely connecting.
Definitely.
Yes.
Well, Talks with Tiffany family, thank you so much for joining us for another episode. Definitely check out her Instagram, her social media, connect with her on LinkedIn. I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode. Enjoy the day. Have a good one. Bye.